Two countries, two lakes, both called West Lake, but each with a soul of its own. Today, we're putting them side by side, China versus Vietnam, the West Lake battle. Who wins in beauty, culture, and vibe? Let's find out. Hangzhou's West Lake is one of China's most legendary landscapes, celebrated in poetry, painting, and even UNESCO heritage lists. Here, you find stone bridges arching over lotus ponds, ancient pagodas mirrored in calm water, and pathways shaded by willow trees. It's a lake steeped in history and romance, where emperors, poets, and travelers have all found inspiration. Here in Hangzhou, West Lake has been celebrated for centuries as one of China's most iconic landscapes. What makes it so famous isn't just its beauty, but the way it combines nature and culture. Poets of the Tang and Song dynasties wrote about its misty waters and willow-lined banks. Painters captured its bridges, temples, and mountains in endless scrolls. UNESCO even calls it a living picture of Chinese landscape ideals. Among its most famous attractions are the Lifeng Pagoda, which rises over the southern shore, the elegant broken bridge linked to the legend of the White Snake, the quiet Su Causeway, shaded by peach blossoms in spring, and the three pools mirroring the moon, a view so treasured it appears on the Chinese 1 yuan banknote. Today, West Lake is where history meets daily life. Locals and tourists alike come here to stroll, take boat rides, or simply enjoy the timeless view that has inspired China's poets, painters, and dreamers for over 1,000 years. Welcome to Hotei, or West Lake, Hanoi's largest and most beloved urban lake. Spanning over 500 hectares with a shoreline stretching nearly 17 kilometers, it's a green lungs escape for both locals and visitors. Contrary to China's UNESCO-celebrated West Lake, Hanoi's version is less about imperial legend and more about everyday rhythm, people cycling, coffee shops along the shore, and relaxed walks in the soft late afternoon light. But it is historic. West Lake dates back to the era of the Hung Kings and was once part of the Red River before the water settled here. It was even a royal retreat during the Li Tran dynasties, where emperors built palaces along its banks. Today, temples like the Tran Quoc Pagoda, which stands over 1,500 years old on a tiny island in the lake, continue to anchor the spiritual and cultural legacy of this place. Whether at sunrise or sunset, Hotei offers a poetic contrast, historic reflection and contemporary life, side by side. In summer, West Lake becomes a sea of lotus, their blossoms rising gracefully above the water. Here, nature itself feels like a painting. As people gather and sing beside the flowers, it's a reminder that West Lake isn't only scenery, it's a place where culture, joy, and daily life bloom together, just like these lotus petals. Nestled on a peaceful islet in Hanoi's West Lake, this is Tran Quoc Pagoda, the oldest Buddhist temple in the city, tracing its roots back more than 1,500 years to the 6th century, under Emperor Li Namjie. It was originally built along the Red River, but was carefully relocated here in the 17th century to preserve its structure from erosion. Since then, it has stood as a spiritual anchor through dynasties, a place where royalty, monks, and everyday people alike sought peace and reflection. Dominating the grounds is its striking 11-story lotus tower, or Bao Thap, added most recently between 1998 and 2003. Each level features arched doorways, housing statues of Amitabha Buddha, representing ascending levels of enlightenment. The crowning jewel, a 9-tiered lotus crafted from gemstone, is a shimmering symbol of spiritual awakening, visible even from across the lake. Surrounding the tower, smaller stupas and altars reflect traditional Buddhist architecture, balanced, serene, and integrated with nature. Carvings of lotus flowers and 8-spoked Dharma wheels echo deeper meanings of purity, mind-body harmony, and the noble Eightfold Path. Walk these soft stone paths, and you may encounter a Bodhi tree, grown from a cutting of the sacred original under which Buddha attained enlightenment. It was gifted by India in 1959, linking Vietnam to a wider Buddhist heritage. Tran Quoc Pagoda is both history and living tradition, its lotus tower pointing skyward, while its monks pray and visitors reflect. It is sacred, peaceful, and perpetually rooted in the timeless journey toward mindfulness. As you notice subtle Chinese inscriptions and architectural echoes at Tran Quoc, that's no surprise. Vietnamese Buddhism bears deep roots in Chinese traditions. Mahayana Buddhism, especially the Zen, Thien, and Pure Land schools, came through China into northern Vietnam as early as the 2nd century CE, blending deeply with indigenous spiritual practices. Over centuries, Vietnamese Buddhist thinkers adapted these teachings into local forms, championed by Zen masters like Von Ngon Thong, a Chinese monk whose silent wall meditation method branched into Vietnamese Thien in the 9th century. And in the 13th century, Emperor Tran Nhan Tong founded the uniquely Vietnamese Truc Lam Zen school, fusing Confucian, Taoist, and Buddhist ideals into a spiritual tradition rooted in the Vietnamese heart. Here at Tran Quoc Pagoda, you're standing in a living archive, not only of devotion, but of centuries of cultural exchange shaping Vietnam's sacred landscape. In Vietnam today, Buddhism isn't confined to temples. It lives in everyday life. Around 9 in 10 Vietnamese people visit temples or pagodas regularly, and nearly every family keeps a home altar where incense is lit daily, even in city apartments. Buddhism here guides community rhythm and social values, emphasizing compassion, mindfulness, and balance. Temples like Tran Quoc do more than host tourists. They are places where families bring offerings, children learn moral tales, and elders sit quietly in reflection. From festival processions to daily incense, these practices bind generations. Vietnam's Buddhism is enduring, not just history, but something lived, felt, and shared every single day. Here, beside the serene waters of West Lake, tradition and modernity collide in the most unexpected, yet beautiful ways. Once immortalized in classical poetry and painting, today West Lake has become a stage for something equally compelling: the rise of Hangzhou as China's influencer capital. Over the past decade, Hangzhou has turned into a digital creative powerhouse. Home to major e-commerce giants like Alibaba and live stream agencies like Chanxun Group, which represents top influencers like Via, The city now hosts thousands of content creators and millions of viewers tuning in daily.
来拍照，跟环握手，要啥啥都有啊！给你发东台、发西北、发东南西北的，微点关注。
包生贵子
啊呀，
贵子，
你看，那我得生小鸡公，那不行，我单身呐。哈哈，微点关注，家人们走关注啊！欢迎你们，不老不忧愁，是太为了你我还俗，我诺，大热精神的。
谢谢，不用。
乐呀啊！
Even here, where the lake's willow-lined beauty whispers of centuries past, you'll see influencers in traditional robes, flowing dresses, or even whimsical outfits, broadcasting live to avatar audiences, blending modern media with classical landscapes. It's a fascinating tension. On one hand, West Lake remains a timeless sanctuary of peace and cultural memory. On the other, it's become a vibrant hub where social media and ancient scenery intersect, transforming every bridge, pagoda, and lotus-lined path into both a living tableau and a digital backdrop. In Hangzhou, the past and future don't just coexist, they enhance one another. And with every click, live stream, or whispered exchange by the lake, that blend comes into focus. Rapid economic growth has brought prosperity to Vietnam. In August alone, exports rose nearly 15% year-on-year. Industrial output surged nearly 9%, and retail activity jumped over 10%. In less than 2 decades, Vietnam has transformed into one of Asia's most vibrant economies. No longer just a textile and shoe hub, it's now a leading exporter of electronics, apparel, and footwear, with giants like Samsung producing the majority of their smartphones here. Foreign manufacturers, from Apple's AirPods to furniture and clothing brands, are relocating production to Vietnam, attracted by low labor costs, youthful demographics, geographic proximity to China, and trade agreements that favor duty-free export. Policies like EVFTA and CPTPP have made Vietnam a strategic China Plus One supply chain alternative, especially in textiles, electronics, and mid-tech manufacturing. But economic momentum has come at an environmental cost. Hanoi frequently ranks among the most polluted cities globally, with PM 2.5 levels often soaring into the hazardous zone, an urgent reminder of the balance between growth and health. Still, hope is on the horizon. Vietnam is rolling out a bold environmental initiative for 2025 to 2030 to build recycling clusters and domestic water treatment technologies. What makes Hangzhou's West Lake so unique is not only its classical beauty, but also the modern world that surrounds it. Just steps away from willow trees and historic pagodas, you'll find yourself in the heart of a bustling CBD district. Here stand luxury boutiques, gleaming shopping malls, and even a flagship Apple store, drawing shoppers and young trendsetters. It's a reminder that Hangzhou isn't just a city of poets and emperors, it's also one of China's fastest-growing economic hubs. And yet, walk a few blocks deeper, and the atmosphere changes again. Street food vendors set up their stalls, offering everything from skewers and dumplings to steaming bowls of noodles. Locals and tourists alike gather here, proof that Hangzhou's spirit balances tradition, modern commerce, and everyday life side by side. By West Lake, you can sip coffee at a luxury cafe, buy a designer handbag, and just a moment later, enjoy late-night snacks from a street cart. all while the timeless water reflects the city's lights. In the end, there is no real winner. Both West Lakes are beautiful in their own ways, and both China and Vietnam are moving forward, growing fast, and shaping their own unique stories. Thanks for watching. See you in our next episode.